10 from those 2 practice sessions, led by Austin Hill. And you see the top speeds, the top 5 anyway, from the 2nd practice session. Christian Eckes, Todd Gilliland, David Gilliland, and Gus Dean rounding out the top 5. Good run from Clay Greenfield, who had a terrific qualifying effort here 1 season ago. Looking forward to qualifying here in just a little bit. And our pit reporters are downstairs talking with some of the participants, and we'll begin with Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Vince. It's been a big-time week for Harrison Burton so far. You won the ARCA race last week, but yesterday a little bit of concern, mechanical issues. Have you got those sorted out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we blew a motor really late in the first practice, so we got all that worked out, and I think we're going to have a really fast truck from the draft. We went out right in that big pack in the first group in practice, and I learned a lot about my truck, and I think that the Safe Flight Toyota Tundra is going to be ready to go all year. So really, really excited to get into this thing and qualify. We'll have to go to the back anyway, but watch for us to come through the field, man. I'm really excited to go for it.
These guys will start at the back tonight, but their qualifying effort tonight will lead to where they pick for pit road position next week at Atlanta. So still a lot to race for down here for the 18, Alan.
Hermie, these races present opportunity. Last year at Plate Tracks, Jordan Anderson had 2 top 10s. What does it mean for this year? What can he do to top that?
Man, I hope we'll keep that string of top 10s going. This is just a really good equalizer for a small privateer team like us. And we worked so hard all off-season. There really wasn't much of an off-season for us, but so thankful for all our fans and partners that have supported us. You guys on social media have seen our new trailer, new trucks. We've been working hard on the truck here behind me. This is the same truck we had here last year. So hopefully when you guys tune in later tonight on FS1, we'll see the same results.
The work never stops for teams big and small, Jamie.
Natalie Decker making her Truck Series debut here this weekend. She may be a rookie in the series, but she is no rookie to the racetrack. Getting out here for your first session of qualifying, what is it that you're bringing to the table with this DGR team?
I love working with DGR, and I'm really thankful that N29 is with me ever since I started racing in the ARCA Series. It was great that we got to race last weekend with the ARCA Series, and I was with the same team, same crew chief and everything. So I'm really glad I'm here again this weekend in the Truck Series.
Let's not forget, Vince, she has been on pole before here at Daytona, but it was last year in ARCA.
It was indeed. Look forward to her qualifying run here shortly. 39 trucks on the grounds for 32 spots. Going to go qualifying here shortly from Daytona. It's the season opener for the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series, and this is qualifying for race number 1 of 23 during the season. A beautiful day in Daytona. Temperatures in the low 70s. Very comfortable. Glad to have you with us. With Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Great to be back for another season. Looking forward to the race later tonight, of course, right here on FS1. But first, we got to set the field and set the lineup. And Mike, there's some teams maybe a little nervous downstairs about making sure they got enough speed to get in the field before we talk about going racing tonight.
Yeah, and there's other teams that know they have the speed to get in the field, and they have a playbook, Vince, and they're going to choose what play they're going to run when we throw the green flag based on where they qualify. The best play is to start right up front. It doesn't matter whether you're a veteran, a rookie, a man or a woman, you want to be up front because it's just simply safer up there. You talked about how comfortable the temperatures are. There's not a lot of comfort down on pit road, especially when they throw that green flag later this evening. If you can get your truck up in that first couple of rows, I think it simplifies things mightily for you, Phil. But there's some trucks, like Vince said, they just hope they get to race tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt. We have 39 really good race trucks down on pit road getting ready to qualify. For some of those guys and gals, they know that they're going to have to go fast, be in the top 27 in speeds to ensure racing later tonight. Some of those guys can also rely on some points to maybe get in for those other 5 positions. But down on pit road, it's go time. I talked to a lot of the drivers and the crew chiefs in the garage area. I said, how fast can you go by yourself? They said, well, I think I can run a 50-20. Will that be good enough? I said, I don't know. Yeah. We really don't know because of all the drafting and practice, but there's going to be a lot of anxious moments during this qualifying session.
Well, there's going to be some good trucks go home tonight, too, and that's going to be disappointing for those teams, but you got to earn it to get in there later tonight. Qualifying for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series coming up next. Sun starting to set here at Daytona, and it is cooling off a bit. Add a little extra grip to that racetrack as we get ready for qualifying, and you see 2 rounds here with single truck format. They'll all go one at a time, and the fastest 12 will advance to round 2, and those fast 12 will run a second round, and the fastest of the bunch will be the pole winner.
Sounds pretty simple, huh, Vince?
Yeah.
What you do as a driver, your job starts right when you crank the engine. Listen to this. Josh Rayum trying to lead pit road with a nice smooth launch. That's important to get a good lap time in. You want to shift at your exact points, probably 82, 8300. You shift gears. You don't want to hit the rev limiter. You take the highest route around the track coming to the green. And then when you take the green, Phil, what's next?
Don't turn the steering wheel if you can help it.
Just head to the bottom and hold on.
Stay right against that double yellow line. Maybe a little bit off. I was watching William Byron during Monster Energy Cup Series qualifying the other night. And he was, what, 4 or 5 feet off that double yellow line. And obviously that was the fast way to go for him.
And the key is you just want to be consistent. You want to make a set for that turn with your hands. And once you get that wheel cranked to where you want it, try to hold it in that exact position. You said don't turn the wheel. As little as movement in your hands as possible, and that's important. We're talking the pole will be won by maybe 1/100 of a second. That could be the difference.
And if you turn that wheel too much, it does what?
It scrubs speed. You're wandering around. You're not going toward the target. The target is that start-finish line right there, and you want to get there as soon as you can, and the best way to do that is take the shortest route and don't move your hands around.
Yeah, that was a nice launch there when he came off turn 4, stayed up against the wall. When he got down towards the start-finish line, which is in the center of the tri-oval, he just went down the hill to try to get a little momentum going when he got to the line. But there he is, Michael, right next to that double yellow line, trying to make this racetrack as small as he can make it.
Obviously, they launch from pit road. They come around, take the green flag, and then it's one qualifying lap. We watch Josh Rayum in the 33 truck.
I'll tell you what, Vince, also as a driver, you know, it's wide open and you're just steering, but it's intense because you want to make sure your crew has worked so hard for you on your truck all winter long, trying to give you something you've got to be competitive with in Daytona. You want to make sure you get everything out of it for your team.
Rayum has never raced here at Daytona in a truck. He has some truck experience, plenty of it last year, but has not yet run at Daytona. Let's check downstairs with Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Vince. Timothy Peters, good to see you back in a truck at Daytona. You've got one of these trophies from this racetrack, so just how important is qualifying?
It's important, but, you know, the draft is even better. As long as we get a solid qualifying lap with our friends at Jacqueline, Nolan's Roofing, Jacobs Company, Chevrolet Silverado, 2019 on top of that.
You haven't lost that touch. You got all the sponsors in.
It feels good. It feels good. It does to say that. But, no, all in all, they drafted well yesterday. We didn't really get in a big pack. But it's all about being at the end. You got to have a lot of luck, but you got to make a lot of your luck too. And Tom DeLuch always told me, make sure you're in position to execute, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Won at Talladega last year, Vince.
Thanks, Hermie. Watching Jason White, the Canadian, on track in the 34. Another driver looking to make his initial start in the truck here at Daytona.
And that's not the Jason White that's from Virginia that has a pretty good history here in the Truck Series. As a matter of fact, he was a former pole sitter here back in 2010, and he's a good buddy of ours, Michael.
Yes, he is, and he led a lot of laps in 2010. Looked like he might have a chance to win that race. Went away late, but always fun to reference Jay White. He's our buddy, like you said, and always is fun to talk about the Canadians coming down to Daytona to go racing.
I took a picture with this Canadian Jason White, and I sent it to our buddy Jason White and said, this is the real Jason White. So got a good kick out of that.
Made a couple of starts last year. 23rd and 26th. Fastest of the two to go so far to 52.41. What's a good lap around here?
I think you're going to have to run somewhere around the 50, 20, or 30, Vince, to make it on time, make that top 27. Obviously, a lot of these drivers will try and make that top 12 to make that second round, but the majority of the field here is trying to figure out how to make that top 27. I'm not sure those two times will be good enough to make the top 27. Again, we talked about having 5 spots available depending on how you did last year on owner points, so that could be a possibility for Jason White and Josh Rayum.
Well, we watched Robbie Lyons, who had a good run here last year, finished 14th. We'll check in with Alan Cabana.
And I'm with Grant Enfinger, who has plenty of checkered flags at plate tracks throughout his career. We know you can race on these things. How do you feel about maybe getting the pole?
I don't know if we got a shot at the pole. I think we can qualify in the top 5, but I don't know. you have to ask Jeff Hensley that, but we do have a solid Ford F-150 for tonight. Can't say how happy I am to have Champion Power Equipment back this year, and all the guys at Thor Sport Racing for having me back.
All right, 98. They were strong guys at the end of last season.
Were indeed. Had a couple of top fives down the stretch. Did Grant Enfinger, in fact, finished the season with back-to-back top fives as we look at the 30 of Brennan Poole. Looking forward to having Brennan around all season long in the trucks.
Robbie Lyons completed his lap at a 50.343, and I think that's going to be close. That's going to be right around that cut line, I think, guys.
And Phil, you talked about making the race the top 27, and if you qualify in on time in that top 27, you legitimately think you can go up there and lead this race. You can be a part of the story tonight. I think 50-34 is the line. We'll see. Should be right there at it.
And I think we'll have potential winners here, Michael, that won't be able to qualify in that top 27 and not make this race tonight, and they would have had a shot at the win.
Brennan Poole slots in the second spot, running for On Point Motorsports this season. And Bad Boy Mowers on board as the sponsor. And we welcome to our team Jamie Howe. Hello, Jamie.
Hello. Brett Moffitt, the defending champion. It's a new season, though. New truck, new team, new crew chief. Where's your comfort level when you get ready for the first race of 2019?
It's extremely high. I've been working with these guys since the deal was announced and been at the shop, and obviously GMS has been a staple here in the Truck Series for quite some time now. So my confidence level is at an all-time high, and just seeing the resources they're putting into it and the personnel we have here is everything a driver could ask for. So we're at Daytona, which hasn't always been stellar for me, but I got a really fast Chevy Silverado here, and I'm looking forward to working with my teammates, staying up front, and trying to control the race the best we can.
Maybe third time's a charm. We'll see.
Six-time winner last season, Brett Moffitt. Here's the 20 of Spencer Boyd, part of a three-truck effort for Young's Motorsports.
Yeah, pretty good lap here. Broke the 52nd bracket at a 49.999. Good run here for Spencer Boyd.
We'll be joined by Gus Dean and also Tyler Dipple as part of that three-truck effort. Headed up by Tyler Young. Really taking a step forward with their program this year. And there's another one that's worked hard in the offseason to upgrade his program that he brings to the track each week, and that's Jordan Anderson.
This is a good-looking hot rod. Truck's really nice, and Vince, I'm just so proud of Tyler Young and what they've done over there at Young Motorsports, growing that team. And this is another young man that's done a nice job of making his trucks look better, run faster, better equipment underneath him, and having a chance to show his skills.
We've talked in the past about Jordan. He had to drive to Atlanta before we went to the road course race in Canada to get his passport, then drove up to Canada, and he's got a nice new tractor trailer. Really has upgraded his program. Kevin Eagle and his guys really doing a nice job here. Isn't going to be the lap he's looking for, but we've seen him run up front. We mentioned he had 2 top 10 finishes on the restrictor plate tracks last year, so we know he's a contender for a great finish.
And this finish in Daytona at the top 10, he took the checker backwards. So that could have been a top 5 easy if he could have kept it heading the right direction.
Not only did he finish top 10 in both those races last year, the restrictor plate, he's the only driver in this field who finished top 10 in both of those races. So certainly hopes to have another good night tonight, does Jordan Anderson. Let's go back downstairs.
Well, Vince, as Michael Walter pointed out in our production meeting today, sometime tonight during the race, we'll see this 47 up on the high side digging at the front of the pack tonight. What makes you and your team so good at this racetrack?
I don't know. I just really love being here. I've always dreamed of racing here, and we had a bad one in Talladega. I got to almost the lead and got hit pretty hard, got banged up, but I'm all healed up, and we got a different truck now. It's a sister truck to that one, and hopefully it's fast.
Guarantee you he'll put on a show tonight. Hey, Michael.
Oh, you know it, Hermie. He's fun to watch. That's the stories that I love at Daytona. You got guys that show up. They have a knack for seeing air, drafting off other vehicles, making those moves that we've seen Chris make, and can't wait till tonight to see him go at it.
Here's Bobby Gerhardt in the 63. Knows something about getting around this place. Right. Not in a truck. He's done it before, winner. But he's an 8-time winner in the ARCA Series.
ARCA Racing Series, 50.707. I think that's going to be quite enough for Bobby to make it on time. May have an opportunity to fall back on points from last year to possibly make the field.
I feel good about Robbie Lyons' time of a 50:34. I think he's beat a few trucks. Maybe that's going to be good enough to make it. We'll continue to monitor that for the folks at home, making sure we're clear on who's going to get to race tonight.
Here's Ross Chastain doing triple duty this week with the trucks, the Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup Series as well. And how about last year? 74 National Series races for Ross Chastain. So across the 3 series trucks, Xfinity Cup, he ran 74 races, 21 more than any other driver.
I was talking to him down in the garage area, and I read that stat somewhere, Vince, and he said, "Really? I didn't know that." I said, "Yeah, you were pretty busy."
And he made a name for himself last year too. I mean, we've watched him in the truck series, watched him make his Monster Energy Cup Series debut at Dover a couple years ago, and just very competitive, very fast, and he caught the eyes of a lot of folks down in the garage area. He got some competitive rides and went to victory lane, and can't wait to see what's in store for Ross this year.
Hey, we're going to watch 3 wide racing later tonight. Didn't know there was supposed to be 3 wide during qualifying.
Well, they're trying to sort out who's next. And while they sort this out, Vince, I think we should go to break. This could get ugly.
Well, if it does get ugly, we'll have the replay for you when we get back. Good look at Ben Rhodes finishing up his qualifying lap, the 10th to have qualified here for the season opener in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Rhodes 3rd quickest with a 50:36. Also, while at commercial break, Ray Ciccarelli qualified, and he is slotted into the 8th position currently.
Phil, I talked to the open about holding the wheel straight. Ben Rhodes ran around this 2.5-mile high bank tri-oval at a 50.363. Ross Chastain, 50.364.
One thousandth a second.
And the driver doesn't matter? You better believe he matters. That could be the difference between going into the next round or not.
Here's Jennifer Jo Cobb. Was 6th here back in 2011. Her best finish at Daytona. In fact, that is her career best finish.
See right now tracking right around Bobby Gerhardt's time, around 7th.
Nice job with her line. You can see a little steam blowing out of the overflow there on the engine, maybe getting a little bit warmer than she hoped. That hopefully won't hurt the performance.
Right at the right side base of the windshield, you can see a little steam coming out.
And she slots into the 7th position. 50:61 for Jen Jo. Let's go downstairs and hear from Alan.
And Vince, if you're thinking about potential breakout drivers this year, that short list would have to include Stuart Friesen. How confident are you can get win #1 of your career at Daytona?
Well, if I can take care of it, not tear the fenders off it, we'll have as good a shot as any. Helmar team brought a really fast Chevy Silverado for us here today, and thing looks badass with a new nose and tail, and hopefully we can get it up front.
Well, he'll have a lot of friends out there, guys. GMS affiliated, don't forget.
He finished 2nd last night. Volusia County on the dirt.
Yeah, he's got that second down, that runner-up finish down pat, doesn't he?
He said the night before that they over-engineered their car and he couldn't go where he wanted to, but he must have got it figured back out.
Said he ran really good last night.
3 times a runner-up was Stuart Friesen last season, 4 times total in his Truck Series career, still seeking that first win. Here's Natalie Decker looking to make her Truck Series debut tonight with DGR Crossley.
Truck's got a lot of speed, Vince.
Yeah, good lap going here. Going to be down somewhere around an 80, 49.80.
You called it, Phil, 49.789. So I think that's good enough to get into the next round. What is your prediction?
I think it's going to be pretty close.
You know, there's a lot of trucks left to go, and usually the trucks get faster as we go. But with the draft, that's all scrambled up, so you never know what you're going to get. Makes it kind of fun here at Daytona.
Absolutely, way mixed up, though. You're liable to have one of the fastest trucks. If he didn't do any drafting or didn't do the right draft, then he may be one of the slowest trucks as the combined practices are put together.
Another driver looking to race a truck at Daytona for the first time is with Jamie.
And that driver is Tyler Dipple. We talked before practice. You said your goal was to learn. You wanted to learn to draft. You wanted to learn some techniques. What was the biggest lesson in those 2 sessions?
Just pretty much what you just said, you know, learning how to draft, you know. First time at Daytona, it's, you know, awesome experience to be here. Truck's pretty good. Guys will work really hard this whole offseason. I can't wait to get out there.
All right, thank you.
I feel exactly the same way Tyler does. I can't wait for them all to get out there together. Pretty strong run here for Myatt Snyder.
Last year's Truck Series Rookie of the Year, 6th quickest at a 50.37.
Look, things are looking better for Robbie Lyons.
Seeing Corbin Forrester pull it in after his qualifying run. Forrester with a 50.57 currently sits 11th. Also Corey Roper qualified while we were away, and Roper just a few spots ahead of Forrester as we currently sit. That's 8th fastest for Corey Roper. And here's the 22 of Austin Wayne Self.
See Robbie Lyons right there in 4th. He has beaten 12 trucks. That means he's locked in the top 27.
Two-time champ Matt Crafton downstairs with Hermie.
Matt, 19th start of this racetrack for you tonight. Now, yesterday, if there's such a thing as an eye test, your truck passed it in practice yesterday. It looked very strong. What is your outlook? How confident are you to get the season started off with a victory here tonight?
Everybody always says every year it might not have speed, but it drafts really well. But I have no idea on speed. We didn't do a qualifying run, but it drafted very well, and I was very happy with that. Junior, he about fell over and had to give him CPR because I told him I think it might be one of the.
If he fell over, would you give him CPR?
I'd kick him a couple times. I didn't like CPR, but I told him, I said, I think this might be the best truck I've ever had at Daytona. I said, it'll actually suck up. I could pull out and do something. He's like, who am I talking to? But anyways, Spinard's Ford F-150 was really, really good yesterday. It's got to have fenders on it at the end of the race and be able to put the same victory lane.
Good to see Crafton and Crew Chief Junior Joyner back for another season.
And I could see Crafton giving Junior Joyner a couple of kicks to say, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
You all right down there?
And he mentioned that defenders need to be on it. Well, it needs to be on it all four wheels, too, because remember here, he had a great shot to win the race coming off of turn 2, and he was upside down before he knew it.
Here's Timothy Peters in the 44. We heard from Timothy a little earlier, former winner here. Took the truck to victory lane back in 2010.
Just a couple of stories we've told so far, Phil. Matt Crafton looking out his windshield, thinking he's going to drive to victory lane. He winds up on his roof. Here comes Jordan Anderson looking for a top 5 finish. Next thing you know, he's backwards. That's just a precursor to some of the craziness you're going to witness tonight when these trucks go racing on the high banks.
Peters is 12th. And here's the 8 of Angela Ruck running for Joe Nemechek's team, Nimco, here this weekend.
I think we'll see some speed here. They look really good in practice, did Angela?
Yeah, I was talking to Joe Nemechek, her truck owner and teammate, and he said she, this is probably maybe her first experience here. He said she really listened well. She did exactly what we asked her to do. They went out there. Joe led a little bit. Angela, led a little bit, followed both. He said she's really learning. He said hopefully just be around here at the end of the race. That's what most of these drivers will hope for, is to be around at the end of the race, and then anything can happen.
We were telling the story yesterday, Phil. She's on baby watch. That sounds crazy, being inside of a truck running 180 miles an hour. Her and her husband Mike are adopting a baby, and the mother's expecting. So certainly focused on this trip to Daytona, but a lot going on for that family.
I think Mike is more on the baby watch. She's on the track watch, and Mike is on the baby watch.
She said, I'll take over the baby watch tomorrow. I need to focus on my job at hand tonight. She slots into the 16th position. Not a great run, but she can still draft up toward the front.
Qualifying continues. Round 1 from Daytona. Chris Fontaine finishing up his qualifying lap here at Daytona. 50.09, and that is good. 5th quickest for Fontaine.
Yeah, good enough to lock himself into the field for sure.
Spencer Davis also put out a qualifying effort while we were at commercial, and Davis with a 50.70 is 16th. And here's the 52 of Stuart Friesen.
Stewart's the 22nd truck to take a time, and you can see a lot of speed out of that Halmar number 52. We knew there would be. this truck will be a real factor tonight.
Yeah, I talked to Stewart today or this afternoon, and he said he really felt good about that truck and how it drove and how it drafted.
Didn't have much luck here last year, finishing 27th, but they've always got a truck capable of getting the job done, and we anticipate that we'll see him in victory lane before the season's out. Jamie?
Well, Sheldon Creed about to get ready to put that helmet on. You know, he has 2 medals at the X Games, a gold and a silver. You're the 2018 ARCA champion, but I read that your nickname is the Showstopper. At what point in your 21 years did that nickname come about?
That came from Stadium Super Trucks announcer Sean Sermony. He actually just texted me. He said he's watching, so I'm sure he's watching this right now. But yeah, that came from Stadium Super Trucks just getting wild and hanging it out there. But I think we have a really good United Rentals, GMS Racing, Chevy Silverado, and ready to see what we have.
See if he can stop the show here this weekend.
What was it, Phil, that Doug Randolph, Sheldon's crew chief, said about Sheldon yesterday? He ain't afraid.
He ain't afraid of nothing. He said he would jump a bike from here to the top of the truck and think nothing of it. We were standing on the ground, by the way.
Here's Joe Nemechek.
Got a text from down in the garage area that John Hunter Nemechek is going to be on the box helping call the shots for his dad tonight.
Be a little bit of a reversal of roles.
After all these years, right? Joe has taken care of John Hunter and helped him become one of the brightest young stars in NASCAR, and tonight roles are reversed.
Joe showed us last year he could still get it done. He ran this thing inside the top 5, finished 3rd here last year.
You darn right, and I found him before the race a year ago. I said, what are you going to do? You going to hang out or you going to race? He said, baby, I don't get many of these chances. I'm going to town. And that he did.
7th quickest here in this first round of qualifying for Nemechek. Brings us to the 18 of Harrison Burton. Now, regardless of where Burton qualifies, he's going to have to start the race at the rear. They had to make an engine change yesterday.
He told us at the top of the show, and then they actually put that backup engine in, got out right before the end of practice, and it didn't sound good. They felt like it had some trouble, but he's top of the board right now.
You hear that quick shift? Really important for Brett Moffitt to wind that thing out perfectly and nail his shifts.
I'll just hold that wheel steady, right?
So while Burton is on his timed lap, Brett Moffitt is on his out lap to get up to speed.
What a great lap that this is for Harrison Burton. It's going to be down probably below a 50, probably a 45.
49.46. Well done. So whatever issue they had yesterday got fixed.
Congratulations, Harrison. You get to start in the back.
The good news for Burton, and we still have another round of qualifying, a second round of qualifying to go, but the good news for Burton is if he does perhaps finish as the top speed in qualifying, means he would get the first pick for pits next week at Atlanta, and so it wouldn't all be for naught.
Absolutely, ultra important.
Here's Moffitt. We saw him on his get up to speed, and here he is on his time lap.
You know what's great about this visor, Cam, Phil? You look at these trucks from outside, viewing from our Fox cameras, it looks like
floating.
A pretty smooth ride. You get down in the corner, your head is shaking, you're running inches apart. It gets a little confusing at times. Look at that thing bounce around.
See that tack around 6,800. That's what they're going to run it with by themselves in that draft tonight. They thought they might run 73, 7,400 RPMs. They'll run, Michael, 10 miles an hour faster probably in the draft at times than they'll be able to run by themselves. That's how important the draft is here.
What a great job by Brett, too, holding that wheel steady and right on that yellow line. That was textbook.
3rd quickest for Brett Moffitt here in round 1. Getting close to the completion of the first round. 25 have gone. More to come when we return. Norm Benning 51.45 for his qualifying run, 24th quickest at this point. And how about the 28 of Brian Doza, who just finished up his qualifying lap? Well done, 50.34.
That'll get him in. We were talking yesterday in the draft. He had some really strong speed, so great run for that team. Hermie, who you caught up with, buddy?
Well, Mike, I want to talk to Gus Dean. You're trying to make your Truck Series debut tonight here at Daytona. Got some super speedway experience at Talladega, but what's this couple of days been like in your anticipation of this qualifying lap?
You know, I mean, it's been really exciting, a little nerve-wracking. You know, unfortunately, with the single car runs on the super speedways, there's only so much a driver can do, and I think that's worse, knowing that it's out of our hands. But you know, we had a really good run here in the ARCA race, leading a bunch of laps, and so I think that even though we didn't get the finish we wanted, I think it gave us a little bit of momentum moving forward into this race. And I've, you know, started off in dirt go-karts, and I'm here at Daytona and NASCAR, so I'm pretty excited about it either way.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Man, Phil, that's why I love to hear. I feel the same way. I felt that same way on my 30th year running the Daytona 500. I couldn't wait to get here, and I really couldn't believe I was here. And just to hear Gus coming from dirt go-karts and just understanding what an honor, what a privilege it is to get to race on NASCAR's biggest stage. That's the attitude I want to hear from our racers.
And a good run from his teammate in that 0-2, Tyler Dipple, 9th quickest.
Yeah, he ran 5 races last year. 4 of those races he finished in the top 15, so he has that finishing power. He gets to the end of the races, and that's what you want out of a young driver. Get those decent finishes, and then just get better and better and better.
Speaking of decent finishes, Sheldon Creed ran 5 races last season, and the finale was at Homestead. He finished 5th.
So impressive. That's a tough place to get around, and he put that truck right up against the fence and really made some good time, had a top 5 finish here, and that's a great lap going here now too.
He was the ARCA champion last year.
Yeah, he was a showstopper in the ARCA series, that's for sure. And that run he made for us down in Miami showed me that he can win in the trucks and win this year.
Creed working with Doug Randolph, who we mentioned, and his crew chief from the ARCA championship, Jeff Stankiewicz, is working with Gus Dean, who we just heard from a moment ago. Nice run from Creed, 49.66. I think we're going to be saying that a lot this year.
I think so,
forward to
too.
this young man and what he can do.
Absolutely.
Got a wealth of talent.
Yeah, and really relatively little experience. So 1 full season in the ARCA Racing Series, and he gets the championship.
Stadium trucks is a whole nother world.
Oh, it is.
They jump over stuff. They don't go around you. They go over you.
On track now, the 13 of Johnny Sauter. He won this race a year ago and got off to a great start in his season, in which he won 6 times. Did not bring home the championship as he'd hoped at Homestead, but it was a career year in every other aspect for Johnny Sauter. But he's with a new team this year. Sauter, his ride up at GMS, and he went back home to Thorsport, where he raced from 2009 to 2015.
And in practice yesterday, he and his Thorsport teammate Matt Crafton looked like, Vince, they could have had 2 of the best trucks on the track. I really liked the moves they were able to make. We talked to Matt earlier about his confidence in the speed in his truck, and it looked like Donnie was just as good.
And Sauter at a 50.14, good for 10th quick. And you mentioned Matt Crafton, Michael, and Crafton will be qualifying here coming up in just a moment, but first it's the 92 of Austin Terrio.
He's got the super speedway prowess, doesn't he? Knows how to get it done on the big tracks.
Yeah, ARCA winner here a couple years ago.
And another truck out of the Ford camp.
I talked to Ricky Bent down in the garage area this afternoon, and we mentioned it yesterday during practice. So much work with the Hurricane Florence and the aftermath with the flooding. So many of his stores that were affected by that. But he said everything's good. Business is good right now. He wasn't even sure that he was going to be able to get here to race because of all the work he had to do. But his guys really wanted to do it, so they jumped in there and worked on this truck. Needs a little bit of speed though right now, I think, Michael.
Moving up the pylon a bit there, if he can just continue to gain on it, but it looks like it's going to stall out there about 20th or 21st.
And it is 21st for Austin Theriault. Had his career best finish here back in 2015.
That will put Brennan Poole into the field tonight. He will be assured of making the top 27.
He takes a big sigh of relief. You can probably hear it from here.
And I do too a bit, Vince, because I think Poole's going to be fun to watch tonight. And he was right there on the bubble. The next guy that bumps their way in via the top 27 will be Jordan Anderson, and then Theriault after that. So they're going to need a little bit of help, and they're not going to get it from Matt Crafton. Crafton's going to track up there inside the top 12. I've been there, man. You stand down there on pit road and watch truck after truck go. Just need to beat a couple. You know, that's a tough way to approach a night when you want to go out there and try to be competitive and race for the win, and you don't even get the chance. It's so heartbreaking.
Well, that's what we talked in the open. I mean, it's tough just making the field here, and some good trucks are going to go home tonight.
We talked about the steering wheel. Look how little that Matt Crafton is turning that steering wheel. He knows how to get it done here. He's going to make the top 12 as of now. Still some good trucks on pit road yet to go. Let's see where Matt slots in here at 9th.
Crafton still looking for his first career super speedway win. Maybe he gets it later tonight. Getting close to the end of the first round of qualifying here at Daytona for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. It's the season opening weekend. They'll race them later tonight. Looking forward to that, but first we got to set the field as Clay Greenfield is creeping inside the top 10 with his run. Nice effort.
Great looking run here for Clay Greenfield. I was talking to Danny Gill, his crew chief. He said, we really have a fast truck. This is basically the same truck that they qualified with so well here last year.
What, inside the top 5? Right?
Absolutely.
And look at the job Danny Gill and that team's done setting that truck up. Just perfect attitude with that nose. And that's going to be rewarded with a 7th place run so far. Great job.
49.92. Well done from Clay Greenfield.
That will assure him of making the second round here because we have 34 trucks that have gone, 5 remaining. That means 7 and on up are locked in the second round.
And that's going to include Natalie Decker. What a run for that team.
Yep. Stuart Friesen, Brett Moffitt, Grant Enfinger, Sheldon Creed, and Harrison Burton all locked into the second round.
And here's the dirt track go-kart racer turned
across the street.
That's right. Gander Outdoors Series truck racer, and that's quite an honor.
But, you know, isn't that really kind of what this sport and really this series in particular is all about? I mean, we hear stories like that, guys that are getting a chance who maybe would have not gotten an opportunity elsewhere, and for whatever reason, they're getting an opportunity to run, and we get to tell stories like that where you hear him say, you know, I just never dreamed, never imagined.
Yeah, just love this series, Vincent. The opportunity that it's given people like Gustine and so many others. Love being a part of this series for a number of years. Michael, I know you and I have been a part of it for a long time, and I just get so excited for these young men and women that get an opportunity to live out their dreams here.
And NASCAR has made a couple decisions lately that has just helped more and more people be competitive, and no one decision more important than the engines under the hood of these things. They've gone with a spec engine. Everybody on the grid has the opportunity to run the same engine. So what I like about that, Phil, if I'm a racer, I'm thinking, I can drive as good as Harrison Burton, and I got the same engine that he does. That gives me a chance to keep up with him. Those are great opportunities for guys to come along and show their skills.
Yeah, and 37 of our 39 competitors have that NT1 engine here.
We talk so much about the young guys that are making their debut here at Daytona, and this is one of those drivers on the other end of that spectrum. 42-year-old team owner David Gilliland running one of his own trucks, and he was the pole winner here last year and was driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports at the time. That particular race, keeping the seat warm for his son Todd.
What a mentor Todd has had. David Gilliland, his father Butch,
David had a great mentor as well.
That's right, and I go down there and I talk to Harrison Burton and David Gilliland to the top of the board. I talked to Harrison Burton. I want to go hug Jeff. And, I see Todd Gilliland. I want to tell David how much I appreciate the mentorship and the guidance. And there's more and more stories like that down in the field where these young racers had fathers and families that have been in the sport, and they watched closely and studied.
How about Johnny Sauter?
How about Johnny Sauter? Exactly. And Stephen Parsons. He's a thriving young racer that wants the opportunity. And I know it means.
You gonna hug me?
I would. I don't want to right at the moment.
If he had to.
I just mean I like what you've done. I like what all you fathers have done. Your kids are great examples of what mentorship can do for a young man.
Well, we saw David Gilliland, and here is his son, the 18-year-old Todd Gilliland. Did not run the first 3 races last season, including, of course, this race here at Daytona, because he wasn't yet 18 years old, wasn't old enough to run the big tracks. But he showed himself quite well once he became eligible, had multiple top 5s, didn't quite get his first win of the season, but that's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, 3rd quickest for Todd Gilliland. Great run at Talladega, which he was obviously eligible for after turning 18, and a great runner-up finish to his teammate Harrison Burton last week in the ARCA Menard Series race.
Like you said, Vince, so many chances. We thought that truck was going to victory lane with Todd Gilliland, and it will this year for sure.
Well, they ran out of gas leading on the last lap at Texas, I think it was.
Yeah.
Here's another one of the KBM contingent. It's 18-year-old Christian Eckes. Talk about another kid that can get it around. This young man is full of talent.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to hug his dad, George, if that's the way you feel about it. Another great family.
They're all going to be avoiding you downstairs as soon as they find out you're down there, Mike.
I wondered why they avoided me a lot of times.
Eckes was on the pole of the ARCA race you mentioned
earlier,
last week. All the days have run together for me, so I'm not sure what day that was, but I know it was last week.
What about this lap he's tracking with here? Toyotas are showing a lot of strength, Vince.
They are, and the KBM stuff looking pretty good right now. This will probably be 3 of the top 4 out of the KBM stables. Remember now, we talked so much about Rudy Fugle and what a great season he had with Noah Gragson. Well, he's calling the shots on this 51 truck. Will not be going for a driver championship because he's going to have multiple drivers, because he's going to have Christian here for a number of times, and he's also going to have Kyle Busch for 5 times, and he might have an opportunity to show something.
That'll get your attention.
Here's the 16 of Austin Hill. This was the championship team a year ago when Brett Moffitt was piloting this machine, and now Hill getting the opportunity to step into the seat vacated by Brett Moffitt.
Talked to Austin a little while ago, and I said, what are your expectations jumping in that truck? We talked about it during practice yesterday and how there's pressure on him because obviously this truck won a lot of races last year, won the championship. He said, hey, I would love to think we could win a race, get us locked into the playoffs and then see what happens, go from there. So very realistic expectations for Austin, who's a multiple-time winner in the K&N Pro Series. Pretty talented young man behind the wheel there, and that tracker's looking pretty good for him too.
Yeah, and let's not be quick to compare him to Brett Moffitt. Brett's got a lot of experience. He's run the Monster Energy Cup Series for heck's sake, so he got the job done, was in the perfect situation with that team. I look for a lot out of Austin though in 2019.
Round 1 is complete as Austin Hill slots into the 7th position, so nice job, and look at that top 12. Clay Greenfield and Austin Wayne Self hanging on to that final spot. And those 12 will go to the second round. Fastest of round number 1 from the Kyle Busch stable. It's Christian Eckes. Never get tired of this view. Sunset at Daytona. NASCAR Gander Outdoor Series qualifying for the truck season opener later tonight that you'll see right here on FS1. Those not advancing to the final round and a shot at the pole. Some pretty good ones in this group of 13 through 24.
Yeah, without a doubt. But we know that these drivers will race tonight.
And they're breathing a deep sigh of relief because of that. Ross Chastain back in the 23rd position. He'll race up toward the front, Phil.
You see those in yellow. Austin Terrio, an ARCA winner here a couple years ago. Spencer Davis, a top 10 finisher last year in the Truck Series here.
Jason White also not making the show tonight.
Long way back to Canada.
So while we understand who's going to be in the field from 13 back, 1 through 12 will settle those positions in round 2 of qualifying coming up. But first, let's hear from some of the drivers, and we'll go downstairs to Jamie.
Natalie Decker, one of those drivers advancing. So practice is now done, the first round of qualifying done. Now that you're going forward, what kind of weight's been lifted off your shoulders?
It feels good. We qualified right now 9th, and we're going into the second round. So I'm just hoping for the best and to get a good spot for the start and have a good race.
Alan, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I'm with the best part of racing, the family aspect, right? I'm with 2 Gillilands right now. Father David outperformed Todd by 2 positions, so you get to go first. What is it about you and speed here? You know something about putting cup cars or trucks on the pole. What can you do with the 17?
Yeah, we have a really good Fred's Tundra, and had really good speed in practice. And I love Daytona. I love coming here. It's an awesome place. And the most special thing, obviously, is Fred's coming on board and allowing me to race this race with my son Todd. But being able to race Daytona with Todd, like that's way up on the list of anything you can ever do as a racing family, is be able to race with your son. So I'm excited. I cannot wait till tonight. I think both of us have really good trucks, and can't wait to get it going.
There's always a debrief between your crew chief, but you're also debriefing with Dad. Can you still learn from this guy?
Absolutely. He's taught me everything I know, and I think he's still holding a little bit back, like we see in qualifying, but hopefully I can pull enough of it together to beat him tonight and beat everyone. So just a really cool family aspect, like he said. You have a coach, a mentor, and also the dad all in one, so it's pretty special.
And interestingly enough, guys, the truck that David put on the pole last year is the one that Todd is driving tonight.
And you can see the pride in David Gilliland's face, but he'd also like nothing better than to beat Todd later tonight.
What I heard a lot from David is how proud he was of his son, and all I heard from Todd is he wanted to beat his dad. Isn't that just a perfect example of?
Yeah, and there's wife and mom right there.
Oh, good stuff. It's going to be fun. And both of those guys have legitimate shots at winning the race. I mean, it could be a father-son 1-2 later tonight, or the other way around, depending on how you look at it. Round 2 of qualifying coming up. The top 12 going to run for the pole for the season opener right here at Daytona. A little bit later this evening, Gander Outdoor Truck Series race day at 7 o'clock, getting you ready for 100 laps here at Daytona. You'll see it right here on FS1 tonight at 7:30. Back at Daytona, second round qualifying for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, presented by Toyota. First truck here in the second round is Austin Wayne Self. He was 12th quickest in that first round. And the way we do it, when you make your way to the second round by being a top 12 qualifier, then we start in Position 12 in ascending order all the way to the top, and the fastest is your pole winner. So theoretically, they should get faster as we go, but it doesn't always work out that way.
And that's what a great effort by the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. Essentially a new race team. Eddie Traconis moved over from ThorSport, is running that operation. Essentially a new team, and made the second round first time out.
Fastest in round 1 was Christian Eckes. He's with Hermie.
That's right, Vincent. He just reminded me. Pole last week in the ARCA race, so going for 2 for 2. Did you get about what you expected out of your truck in round 1?
I really didn't know how fast we were single car speed, to be honest with you, but I think we proved we're pretty decent. So hopefully we can hang on here in the second round and get 2 for 2 in Daytona poles for our first 2 weeks. I think that'd be really cool. It's just a real testament to how good Rudy and these guys are. This is my first race with them, and it definitely started out strong. So I'm just ready for round 2 here.
How about this, Vince? 18 years old. You've been on the pole in the ARCA race and got a shot to be on the pole for the truck race tonight.
And no one's ever done that at Daytona. You've never been on the pole for the ARCA race and then turn around and won the pole for the truck race. It's never happened before. Christian Eckes hopes to be the first.
Make a little history here in Daytona.
Clay Greenfield is out for his run. Back-to-back strong qualifying efforts at Daytona for Greenfield and his group.
See Rackley Roofing coming on board for Clay. Met the gentleman that owns that company. He's pretty excited to be here, and deservedly so.
I bet so, Phil, especially after that top 12 qualifying performance. The team just has done a nice job, and this truck will be in the mix, right up there battling for the lead.
Austin Wayne Self was our first qualifier here in round 2. He was about 2/10 off what he qualified in round 1. So we'll see what happens here with Greenfield, who the first time around ran a 49.92, and this time it's a 49.81.
Yeah, a little bit over a tenth of a second. And Michael and I were talking during the commercial break, Vince, that we really feel like these trucks should run faster this second round because all the fluids are a little bit warmer than they were in the hubs and the transmission and the rear end. They'll cool the engine back down with the cooling machines, but everything else that turns will be warmer, and these trucks theoretically should go a little bit faster than they did.
Friesen ran a 49.82 first round. We'll see what he does here in round 2, and you see tracking to the red there in the bottom right-hand portion of your screen. Of course, that's to the fastest qualifier so far in Clay Greenfield. Wants to get that into the green, and there he is.
Stuart Friesen could be the story of 2019. He was so close last year with so many opportunities to get to victory lane. He well might be our Brett Moffitt of 2019. Brett burst onto the scene and made things happen a year ago, huh?
49.76 fastest for Friesen. You get the feeling he's been so close. He was runner-up 3 times last year that once he gets that first win, it might just open the floodgates and he might just start stacking them.
Oh yeah, I think he'll get to victory lane multiple times this year for sure.
We heard from Natalie Decker just a few moments ago, visiting with Jamie Howe, and here is Natalie out for her first Truck Series event at Daytona, running with Gilliland Crosley.
Looking out that windshield right now, just making sure she does her job perfectly all by herself. But she knows what looms ahead. It's going to be crazy action, and she's going to be right up in the front of it. A huge test tonight for her and her team to go out there and try to survive and be in a position to win this race.
Going to run a limited schedule in the Truck Series as well as in the ARCA Menard Series, but the good news is it will be for the same team, this team right here, and she will have the same crew chief in both, Frankie Kerr, who has so much experience, and what a great sprint car driver Frankie Kerr was back in the day.
Yeah, and a lot of success in the ARCA Series already. She had a great run over here at Daytona, so she knows it's going to be crazy when she starts. She came home 6th in the ARCA race. Hopefully we can see another great run from her tonight.
Slowed down a little bit here in this second round to a 49.92, third fastest.
Good looking truck there, Toyota for DGR Crosley. There's our man.
Brett Moffitt getting ready to roll. We were talking about Decker and how it's going to be a lot different for her tonight in the race, and she's not alone. We're one of many that are making their Truck Series debut, or especially their Daytona debut here tonight. But the difference between, even in practice when you were drafting with 3, 4, maybe 5 others compared to what they're going to feel tonight.
It is going to be so wild tonight. We're going to see 2 wide, 3 wide racing all over this racetrack. That was great. I love following Brett as he launches off of pit road here.
Yeah, he just did a perfect job. Everything you'd want. You want to have a little excess RPM as you leave so that you don't bog that engine, and Brett nailed his shift. So,
back several years ago, we would run 2 laps qualifying. Then it didn't, with these trucks, it didn't make that much difference how you left pit road. But now on a 1-lap qualifying, every little bit counts.
Now watch what he does here. If you'll come across the start-finish line, maybe about the middle of the track as he begins to sweep down.
Gotta go down the hill, right?
Yeah, run down the hill and get to the bottom as he exits the tri-oval. There's that move, and then just stay right near that yellow line.
See his tack just under 7,000 RPMs. Will not lose a lot of RPM in the corner. These trucks don't bog down a whole lot.
What's that on the right-hand side of the dash that's flashing red?
Probably water temperature or water pressure, possibly.
Yeah, it could be.
The way they cool the engines down, that could be a pressure situation, but it won't affect the truck at all. But if you're in your passenger car and you see something flashing red at you,
it's probably a bad sign.
Get your attention.
Right now, Brett's looking out that windshield. He's not looking at those gauges. He's trying to concentrate, hold that wheel steady. See the tracker, he's about a 1/2 tenth off of Friesen's time, 49.80. Good lap for Brett Moffitt, right behind his teammate.
Just a tick slower than he was in round 1 with a 49.76. The pole winner has only won 4 times here at Daytona, 4 out of the 19 that we've run. And even though
I like my odds,
yeah, you know, you start. I don't think anybody's going to argue with starting from the pole, but the last 4 years, the winner has come from the top 3, which plays to your point that you made earlier tonight, Mike, in the open about the importance of track position, and it is important, even though we're on a plate race, and a lot of times you think, oh, you can win from anywhere. Possible, but still, you got a better shot when you're starting up front.
I like to tell people you can get a top 5 from about anywhere, but man, if you don't have the fast truck, the guy that can run up front, start up front, and be up there, it's really hard to pull off a win. We've seen upsets. John King, maybe one of the biggest in the Truck Series history, when he said he won his 3rd feature race that he started, right? And feature races is what you call the main events when you're a short tracker. He said Daytona was only his 3rd feature event, and he took it to victory lane. So that's impressive, but it doesn't happen. It rarely happens.
Austin Hill, 49.86. Slowed down about a 1/10.5.
Michael, I really agree with you. I think if you have a truck that doesn't have that single truck speed, you can run on the draft with these guys. You can follow, but being a leader, that's another question. I think you have to have that speed to be a leader. Yes, you can make a move on the last lap and something with a little help, but it would be nice to know that you can control your own destiny with a fast enough truck by itself.
Well, these truckers, they'll use you up. You know, when they see a truck that qualifies up front, Friesen, Moffitt, even Grant Enfinger, when these trucks are in the top 5, if they see you ahead, the slower trucks, they're going to want to draft with you. They want to get behind you and push you, and that helps your cause even that much more.
We've had 6 qualify here in the second and final round, and only 2 have posted a time faster than what they ran in the first round, that being Stuart Friesen and Clay Greenfield. Friesen is the time that everybody's shooting for right now, 49.76.
Enfinger ran a 70 in the first round. Looks like he's going to be at the top of the board if he maintains there.
And he does, 49.62. So Grant Enfinger gets quicker, and he's the fastest so far.
That momentum that they had going at the end of 2018 looks to be continuing here.
And here's the rookie Sheldon Creed out of the GMS camp. They've pared down the size of their team a little bit this year. They had a 4-truck team last year, and now 2. And then Stuart Friesen, whose Friesen-Halmer truck is prepared out of the GMS shop. It's really a 3-car team, 3-truck effort.
See, Sheldon Creed was flirting with the top spot there. He was in the green for a little bit. And again, just a little puff of wind could be the difference. We're only talking about 2/100ths of a second right now off. And just a little puff of a headwind down the backstretch could account for that for sure.
I know what the difference in 4/10,000ths of a second is. I saw it in the Xfinity race last year. It's less than an inch, it looks like. So a couple hundredths must be, what, a foot all the way around this racetrack?
Sheldon Creed, second fastest, 49.71 for Creed, the 21-year-old from Alpine, California.
The first of our KBM trucks, Todd Gilliland, the JBL Tundra.
Kyle Busch Motorsports announcing earlier today, Rafael Lassard, the 17-year-old, would run some races for KBM later this season, beginning at Martinsville on March 23rd. He's just 17 years old.
Yeah, we talked about the 51, Rudy Fugle having a number of different drivers. They also will have a fourth truck in some races, the 46.
And Lassard will run that 46 at Martinsville.
There's a whole lot of Toyotas coming after a Ford and a few Chevys that make up the top 5 right now. This one looks like he's got a good head of steam going.
Tracking in the green is Todd Gilliland. And remember, as Alan Cavana told us earlier, this truck is the truck that Todd's dad, David, drove here at Daytona last year and won the pole with it. So we'll see if Todd can do it. It's the magic of the truck. Pretty impressive, 49.53. About 100ths off what he ran in the first round, but fast enough to go to the top of the board.
3 to go.
And here's Harrison Burton, winner of the ARCA race here last week. He's part-timed it the last 3 years, but he is of age now, 18 years old, and he is full-time on staff with the Kyle Busch Group.
It's hard to believe that we can say he's of age. He's 18 years old. Now he can race at Daytona, Talladega, anywhere we go.
He did a nice job, I think, Phil, launching, because he came across the start-finish line. He was the fastest, but he's dropped down to 3rd and now back up to 2nd, so only less than a half of a tenth off.
Mike Hillman Jr., championship crew chief, working with Burton.
Our broadcast colleague, Todd Bodine, was the recipient of a couple of championships with Mike Hillman Jr. at the helm.
And Burton's second quickest, 49.62. Not quite there to catch his teammate Todd Gilliland.
Can Dad knock Todd off the pole here?
Here comes Fred.
2 to go. David Gilliland and Christian Eckes, the 2 remaining qualifiers.
As you mentioned, got to the line good, Michael. You see him top right now, tracking at the top of the board.
He'll be able to tell his crew, I did my part. I got that baby up and wound up, and the fastest when we got to the line. And look at that, he's stretching it out.
Wow, tracking in the green by more than a tenth, almost 10th and a half, and now better than a 10th and a half. The old man knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does. This may be close to 0.2 of a second faster than Todd.
Wow.
A 39 is what David ran the first go round.
Very nicely done. A 30, 49.30 for David Gilliland.
I'd say team co-owner Bo Lamastus is somewhere with a big smile on his face right now. Put together, what a great organization.
Well, Christian Eckes is going to have to put together one heck of a lap. He ran a 49.31 in round 1.
He just has to go faster, man. That's all he has to do. About 100th of a second is all.
How many times have you heard that, Phil? Just go faster.
18 years old. He's never run on a super speedway in a truck before. Just go faster.
Yeah, just do it.
Win the pole.
And mind you, now this is after he ran wide open the first go round. He's tracking only about 0.03 of a second off.
Gaining 2.
Gaining a little bit.
Uh-oh, gaining a lot.
Ooh, look at this.
Here comes Eckes off turn 4. Can he get to the green? Yes. Christian Eckes is going to do it if he can get through the tri-oval and cross the line, and he has done it. 49.28. The pole winner, Christian Eckes. Wow.
It's 2 poles in a week for him in Daytona.
The first time ever winning the pole and the ARCA race, and then backing it up with the pole in the truck race at Daytona. Christian Eckes his first career pole. Hey, it took him 5 starts to do it.
It did. It did.
We don't want to get out of, puff him up too much. Took him a whole five starts.
How about Rudy Fugle? He's a master,
He
right?
is. He really is.
Congratulations to Christian Eckes, 18 years old, and he'll lead them to green later tonight in the season opener here at Daytona.
I think that's Rudy right there, the Mobile One shirt, talking to Bono Mannion.
Chad Walter walked up, another veteran engineer in the NASCAR series.
Yeah, Bono is David's crew chief, who will start from the front row as well.
18 years old, out of Greenville. You might think South Carolina, but not in this case. Greenville, New York.
I like Bono was smiling there. You think Rudy was trash talking him there a little bit?
He might have been. He doesn't do a whole lot of trash talking, I don't think.
Oh, how about this front row? 18-year-old Christian Eckes and 42-year-old David Gilliland. Going to be fun tonight. Race coverage begins with race day, 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on FS1.
One guy there with his eyes wide open, doesn't really know for sure what all he's going to see. And then to his right, a confident David Gilliland, who we know, Hermie, has every tool it's going to take in his kit to win this race tonight.
On Super Speedway, you're right in the mix with these kids. So how do you handle business from the outside of the front row tonight?
I don't know. Drink lots of water or something. Keep up with these kids. They are, man. It's crazy. The combined age is. It's a lot of fun, though, and getting to be able to race out here. Fred's came on board in Valvoline. We got a really fast Tundra, and feel really good about tonight. So feel as good as we did last year. We had shots to win both races last year, Speedway races, and I think we got a good shot tonight. So I'm excited. I'm super excited to be racing with Todd, my son, out here. I was telling somebody earlier, as a parent and as a racer, to be able to race with your son at Daytona is P1. It don't get any better than that.
Well, there you have it. Alan?
Some congrats from his teammates. Christian Eckes on the pole, 2 in a row. What kind of confidence do you have tonight to go win this thing?
A lot of confidence. I felt way more confident in our car in the draft yesterday. I really wasn't sure where we'd qualify, and here we are on the pole. I can't thank Rudy, all these guys enough. This is a true testament to them. Daytona, the driver really doesn't do much other than hold it wide open. So congratulations to them. And I can't thank SiriusXM, JBL, Mobile One, Toyota Racing, all my partners. I can't wait to race this thing tonight. It's a lot of fun here in the Truck Series, and I'm really ready.
He says he's ready. Let's see what he can do with it, guys.
Oh, we got to be chomping at the bit after that performance. A little teammate. Yeah, they're kids.
Well, they're 18 years old. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Me and Michael couldn't do that.
You guys would be laying on the ground needing some help if you were doing that.
I just give you a hug, Phil. That's all I would have, buddy.
All right, don't change the channel. Race day coming up at 7 o'clock, and then we're going to go racing tonight at 7:30. And then afterwards tonight, NASCAR presents The Adventures of Janet Guthrie. Great documentary airs at 10 o'clock tonight here on FS1. Christian Eckes will lead us from the pole tonight when we go racing at Daytona.